And coming up on Mountain News this morning, a worker at the Kendall factory destroyed by the tornado in western Kentucky talks about his experience. And blood centers across the Commonwealth ask for donations to help the wounded over in the western part of our state.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good Wednesday morning to you. I'm Dakota Makris. It's just before 5 o'clock on this cold morning. Let's head over to Brandon for a look at that forecast. Brandon, yet again, another cold morning. I guess I'm going to just repeat myself. So I think we can just record the beginning of the newscast where I just say, it's always going to be cold.
Well, here's the thing. You are correct in most locations, but some locations are a little bit warmer than others this morning. So that's a little bit of a difference today. Let's take a look and see what we're looking at with those conditions there this morning. We're up to 50. In Logan and Jackson this morning, and then you got a lot of 30s and 40s out there. 52 Monticello is actually the warm spot. Just now noticed it, but we've got some 30s down to the south. I did notice as I was traveling this morning, when I left my house, it was 29 in Letcher County, and then when I got to Hazard, you see it's 37. Now it was 36 a little bit. So there's some warm air out there in places, and that trend will continue today. Out the door forecast, we are going to see temperatures climb and quickly as those southwest winds come cranking into our region today. I think we get up to about 66 by 2 o'clock this afternoon with a mix of sun and clouds. So one more dry day before things start to pick back up. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Well, at least 88 people are dead from last week's tornadoes, and more than 100 are still unaccounted for. Search and rescue operations continue across the state of Kentucky. CBS's Laura Podesta is in Mayfield with the latest.
President Biden visits Kentucky today to survey the damage from last week's deadly tornadoes.
He will ask leaders directly, what do you need? What are you not getting? And how can we make it faster for you?
The president will visit Mayfield and Dawson Springs, two hard-hit communities.
We are trying to salvage as much as we can.
Alan Patel says it'll take more than a year to rebuild after his store collapsed.
We don't know right now actually like what to feel, just don't know what we're going to do.
The cleanup is beginning. We're seeing piles of tree limbs everywhere as more roads are cleared. Most homes are not salvageable, and this destruction spans across western Kentucky.
But you have to understand their lives associated with this.
Ronnie Ward of the Bowling Green Police Department says he needs to pause at times while searching for the missing.
You go about that task of trying to get this work done, and then you come across a wagon, and you think, that's associated with a child somewhere. And did that child live? And so those thoughts they overtake you, they overwhelm you.
Everything was just falling on top of us.
Huda Alubahi was pinned under the rubble in her house with her 2 children in her arms. 3-year-old Jaleel died. Alubahi thought she had lost her 1-year-old Julius as well, but he was untouched.
And he cried, and then he just stopped. So at that time, I thought he was gone, but he wasn't.
More than a dozen children were killed in the storm. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Mayfield, Kentucky.
Now, insurance experts say the financial losses could reach $5 billion across 6 states. Governor Andy Beshear says the age range of the deaths caused by the tornado outbreak in the Commonwealth has gotten even harder. People as young as 2 months old and as old as 98 have lost their lives. And a small ray of sunlight in all of this. The governor says it appears only 8 people in the Mayfield Kendall factory died. The death toll there was expected to be much higher. Well, search teams believe they've found everyone who was in that Kendall factory. Mayfield Consumer Products that was destroyed in Friday's tornadoes. But that news comes with some sobering red flags. Now, Governor Beshear says the debris is so dense it's possible search dogs just cannot detect anyone else who may still be buried underneath. The factory supply store such as Bath and Body Works and others. Now, one worker says that it will take time to recover from the event.
It's a trauma that it's going to take a lot of people a long time to heal mentally. I believe our physical wounds are going to heal long before our mental wounds, because like that was my first night here. I was in the emergency room and I was tired, and I just finally dozed off and had my eyes closed, and there was a loud noise, and I thought I was right back in the candle factory until I opened my eyes back up.
Well, the federal government is using its resources in search and utility restoration efforts for Western Kentucky. Congressman James Comer, who represents Mayfield, says what many of us have seen on television does not do it justice. The congressman says restoring power and water as quickly as possible is the main focus. Comer says he will also work to help those who are under or uninsured.
Everyone that I talked to that lost everything they had, they said, we're going to rebuild. You know, they're not going to get us down, and they thank God for being alive. I mean, it's just a special kind of place in the world. It's rural America, and it's where I'm from, and I'm proud to be from rural America, and these people are as well, but they're going to need a lot of help.
Well, the representative says even those with insurance may find it hard to rebuild because prices for materials are high. Given the recent tragedy in Western Kentucky, Kentuckians are rallying together to gather supplies for those in need. But there is still something that Western Kentuckians need during this time: blood donations. With many left injured, Western Kentucky is in need of blood, and blood centers across the Commonwealth are encouraging people to donate.
You know, we see a lot of pictures of the damage to property, but there's also a lot of injured people out in Western Kentucky that need our help. So donating blood is one really good way to do that.
Now, Representative Hatton says the state legislature is coming together to host a blood drive, but there are also several other places to donate. We will have those resources linked over on our website at WYMT.com. As recovery efforts continue in Western Kentucky, groups from across the state are moving in to help them with long-term. Now, Scott County's largest employer, Toyota, donated $500,000 to help do just that. Officials announcing $250,000 will go to Community Foundation and another $250,000 to SBP, an organization that helps families during the long-term recovery phase. Well, thank you so much for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. When we come back, the Arctic sees higher than average temperatures throughout 2021, causing climate experts to be concerned.
One more dry day before rain chances come back into our region. I'll track them out for you in about 3 minutes.